Hello, and welcome to another episode of Walk the Dog Cinema. Roka and I are out and about, getting a wonderful walk in, beautiful spring morning, and we are going to talk about Lady Snowblood, another 1973 Japanese kind of samurai film based off of a manga from the author who did Lone Wolf and Cub. And to say this was an interesting movie, put it a little lightly. It's not an action movie per se. I would put it more in the drama. It does have a few action sequences, but it's really not filmed for action movies. Even though the star of the movie was kind of an action icon in Japan during this period of time, she was trying to move away from action movies and decided to do this one because it wasn't really about the action, but more about the anti-hero. It's basically a story of revenge. She's kind of a bastard child, basically given birth to get vengeance for her mother, who family, her older brother, her dad, her mom were killed during the blood riots of Japan in the 1870s. And so it's kind of this mishmash between Japan changing to become a little bit more westernized from the samurai era. So there's a lot of juxtaposition with all that. And she's looking for the 3 of the 4 people left, because the 4th one's already dead, but the other 3 who are still alive, who were the co-conspirators of this family tragedy. And I enjoyed it. I've read the whole manga series, so to say there's some differences and stuff, and I'm going to go over all that. So Lady Snowblood. So Lady Snowblood is based off of a manga. The manga is really good. It's really adult. It's done in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. Had a 51 issue run, but I have the 4 volumes that Dark Horse put together, read them, and it's a fantastic story. And the movie, for the most part, does a pretty good job of staying true to the manga on many levels. The kills are for revenge are kind of out of order, and how they're kind of done and go about are done differently. I will say I love the ending of the manga. I don't know why they changed to this ending of the movie, to be honest, within the themes of the movie. So they desexualized the movie a ton compared to the manga, where Lady Snowblood, Sayuriyuki, uses her sexuality to an advantage in the manga, deeply. There's none of that here. She's a pretty actress. She looks like the Lady Snowblood from the manga. It's kind of crazy, but she plays it cold, but there is a heart there, which is just like the manga. But doesn't really use her femininity. She's just kind of a straight girl boss in that regard. And it's not a bad thing, because it shows her how she kind of gets there. She's kind of supposed to be an amazing assassin. There's a few parts that undermine that. I think overall I enjoyed the movie. It's not kind of what I expected when you come off the manga and you knew samurai films during this time. I mean, there's great amounts of spurts of blood and things like that. Very much like the Street Fighter, but and it sprays beautiful red. It's so kind of out there that You can see where Tarantino used it for Kill Bill to hyperlize the violence, so it feels as graphic or disgusting. It's kind of an artistic choice. The colors are beautiful in this film. Everything kind of looks like a set, so it has this kind of dreamlike quality because they use that. So I love all those choices to kind of capture that feel, and it feels kind of like a manga. I've seen people, comic book and whatever. It just has more kind of a dreamy, nightmarish, like sleeping dream quality. That's what I would put it. And I love that choice for it, which is much different than how the manga is drawn in that regard. So I love the colors, whole set direction and all that. So it's that part of it's great. I don't like how they put stuff kind of out of order, how they chose. For me, within the manga, in this one, so spoilers, the first person that she kills on the beach has a daughter, which is the last person she kills in the manga, has a payoff with that daughter who's 16. This in the movie, she's already kind of an escort, lady of the night, and that's how she gets her money. Where in the manga, it's implied that that's what's going to happen. So Lady Snowblood steps in and rescues her. Whereas in this one, it's played for an ending that shows the theme of revenge from a different perspective. And I will say, for me, that's kind of where, on some level, I get it from a theme standpoint, but for me, it was kind of a horrible choice. It's a bad change to where the manga sets her up rather cold and shrewd, and then her humanity is brought about from other things, but also for rescuing this girl and setting her up for a better life with her money and her dad's money. And so she takes something that her dad did really evil in the beginning of the manga, and kind of flips it to set this girl up for a completely better life, and kind of saves Yuki's soul in that sense. So this one, she just comes out of nowhere after the last person's taken care of and stabs Yuki, and then she's kind of like dying in the snow, but she doesn't die, and it's kind of muddled. And from setting up for themes and her story and background, how can I paint it? To me, she wasn't really an anti-hero. She's kind of a hero. It is a hero's arc, because the movie doesn't play in any grays, really. I think it tried to, but it doesn't. Her, so to speak, revenge plot is kind of justified because it's really heinous what these four do, and they're not nice people. Whereas in the manga, it kind of treats it a little bit differently, and puts kind of everyone in this gray box. I'm not saying it doesn't play with morality, but this one's kind of really black and white, and so it doesn't play in those grays. Where the ending isn't the payoff that it thinks it is, and I'd say that's kind of the down mark of it. The movie builds to a nice ending. It's kind of interesting. The Rukiagan sequence from the manga is used in this, but for different purposes, but I still kind of liked it, how it was used. So kudos for them. But like I said, it was called, if you read the manga and you watch the movie, you're gonna be, I think, sorely disappointed. But if you've never seen it and it's kind of your first foray into like samurai film, or you want to see like Japanese cinema for the 70s, it's much different than the last Street Fighter, much different from Hanzo, much different from Lone Wolf and Cub, much different from the horror outings like House and things like that Japanese cinema was putting out. it's got a lot of blood when it does happen, but like I said, it's done to such an effect of just this really bright red the way it sprays and everything. It's kind of like how Evil Dead 2 plays with it. If you've ever seen that, if you haven't, go see that movie too. It's kind of a crazy horror film, comedy horror, but I wouldn't say it's played for comedy, but it's so exaggerated that it isn't as gruesome as as it would be if it was just kind of realistic. I'll put it that way. So I enjoyed it on one level. Like I said, it's in between the two. If you've ever read the manga, I don't think inherently you're going to like the changes. You're definitely not going to like the ending. It is such a step down from the manga. It's crazy. I mean, by levels, and I wouldn't even say the manga ends on a 10, but it's up there in the like 8s and stuff like that, where the movie, man, to me, it crashes. It's like, really, that's the end? It just kind of is, and kind of ruins the whole vibe of the film for me. So too bad on that level, but I was still enjoying it. I'm glad I watched it. I'd say, like I said, if it's your kind of want to step into samurai films and things like that of the 70s, and you're looking at 70s cinema, it is a good one. And then obviously Kill Bill is an inspiration from this film. You can see where Tarantino, if you kind of check out all of those kind of movies, the Street Fighters, Lady Snowblood, you can see where the bride comes from, Hanzo the Razor. You can see kind of the crazy gonzo-ness of it all, and you can see I can see Tarantino in that sense while he worked at the VHS store, checking out all these crazy movies coming in, and there is nothing like it. There's nothing like Japanese cinema in the 70s. I mean, there was nothing like cinema in America in the 70s. It was all kind of out there, but you really saw filmmakers really exploring lots of stuff and themes and doing on low budgets and kind of falling away from the studio system, but still staying in sets, and it's kind of like this hodgepodge. And that's what I kind of love about the 70s grittiness, and just the kind of guts to go there and just do some really kind of abstract or crazy things. So it is fun when you find those movies and you're just like, holy moly. The 80s refined that, and so we got a little bit more slick. But this is the time of the auteur, where directors were really just kind of going for the gusto, and you had different kind of stars. So Lady Snowblood, check it out. It is on HBO and Tubi, so you can see them if you have those, or you can get it on Criterion for Blu-ray. So Lady Snowblood, have a good one, everyone.